When it's all over, let me find rest. Thank you, Jesus. Rest be He'll give me wonderful rest. He'll give me sanctified rest. Sanctified rest. He will give me glorious rest. He'll give me everlasting rest. He will give me wonderful rest. I don't have to worry about these old problems, these old burdens. I won't have to worry about it. No more, no more, no more, no more. He will give me. Yes, he will. Everlasting rest.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
And hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
You know you do your thing about today is.
Yeah. Right. Today is Monday, February 23rd. In the year of our Lord 2026. And how was your weekend?
Well, let me just say before we get started, I need y'all to hit that share button. I need you to also comment. We're going to have a great show today. So now I can get into how was my weekend. My weekend was fabulous.
Okay.
My grandbaby, my little princess, went to her little sweetheart dance with her daddy. And oh my goodness, she was just so cute. And
she was. I didn't know, which one of y'all was worse, you or the dad. I was like, y'all are supposed to, pull it together for her. Pull it together.
Oh, I couldn't do it. She came to me. She says, Grandma, were you crying? I'm like, yeah. I was just, you don't want them to grow up. You want them to grow up, though. I mean, there's one aspect, you want them to grow up. But then the other aspect, I don't know if I want her dancing and stuff with boys and stuff. I don't know. But she danced with her dad.
With her dad, yeah. I mean, it's coming. It's, it's inevitable. They have to grow up. It's coming. And, I enjoyed watching Jimmy. And I know, I guess boys are different from girls, but I enjoyed watching him grow up. Like every his first dance and all, that was exciting for me. And it was like, wow. So I love it. Even now that, he's an adult, he's finna be 27 and everything, like when he does something that's really mature, I just be like, dang, man, you growing up. So it's exciting for me to watch them grow.
And to all our listeners, if I haven't said it, thank you for all the love that you give us. I know sometimes, especially on my end, I feel like, dog, they really, I don't know if they're listening. I don't know if they care. You go through that. And then I'll go out and they say, Miss Brenda, we heard you on the radio,
right.
Or we saw you on that Facebook and you was really funny and you gave us good information. So, I just want to tell you, thank you to all our listeners. We do not take you for granted. Hey, Lynn, how you doing?
Hey, Linda.
Oh, look at her trying to talk sexy, Linda.
Was that sex? What? Was it? I just said, hey, that's funny.
So for all y'all that's looking, I've been at work all day. I mean,
finally.
A lot of times, I do admin work. Emily, I'm just like behind the desk, pushing paper. But today I was not pushing paper. I was actually doing a mediation. So I did a mediation from 10 till about 4 o'clock. Hey, Alicia.
Hey, Alicia.
I did it from about 10 to 4. So I'm tired. I am physically and emotionally fatigued. So there we go. So that's where I am today. So
okay, so that means you ain't gonna talk as much today.
No, that ain't true.
Oh, dang.
That ain't true.
I got excited.
But I was in a mediation and it was really challenging. And I think it's because I hear so much. I won't say that I'm numb to it, but we went through our case count for calendar year of 2025, and our office processed about 975 cases. 900. And now there's a lot more that have gone through, but
so that's almost roughly 3 cases a day, 2 cases a day. That's a lot.
That is correct. And these are divorce. So this is not the criminals or the or anything like that.
Oh, so that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. So that's what I was doing today. I've been.
Wait a minute, Linda, talk about you wish. Don't do me, Lynn.
But when for y'all that know, Emily came over and she did Denver's little eyeshadow and stuff like that. She did a little makeup and stuff. And
it wasn't really eyeshadow. It was definitely age appropriate. She's 10. She'll be 11 on her next birthday.
No, she's
right?
11. She's 11. 12.
Okay. So we kept it age appropriate, and it wasn't really eyeshadow. I just put like a little glitter on her eyes. I gave her a little powder, dusted her face with a little powder, gave her some blush, some mascara, and some lip gloss. And she just thought she was, because all little girls love a little sparkle. So I put a little glitter sparkle on her eye, and she just thought she was the bee's knees.
Well,
she was super cute.
She was. We have some great. Well, we're gonna do hopefully we be able to do 2 topics, but they're all kind of stemming from the same one. Can you explain? Because you have been doing the research on a Gen X. So what is a Gen Xer?
So let me pull up. I want to make sure I get the numbers right. So when I was growing up, I was born in 81. So when I was growing up, I was always referred to as a Gen X. Here recently in the last 4 or 5 years, people keep referring to my age as millennials. They say we're the older millennials. And I said, no, y'all just changed that. Y'all made that up because my whole life growing up, they referred to me as Gen X. My brother, we were all referred to as Gen X. So I don't know who changed the years or whatever, but so 81 is like the cusp. So they consider me to be an older millennial, but I still consider myself to be Gen X. But what I was, my question was to you guys that are listening and tuning in is, why is this? I don't even want to just say it's the Gen Z. There is a whole generation or two of people that are opting out of having children. So, I want to dive into that and really get into why it is that some of not some, a lot of these women are not wanting to have children at all. And yeah, so I mean, what do you think that's about?
Well, since I would say that, I won't say that I'm an expert, but I would just say that because I'm on the other end of the legal spectrum, that a lot of them see what their parents or parent, because you got to realize, coming out of that particular generation, some of them were single parents. So we're going to say that there were more single parents in that group than it was in my age group, which is traditional, because they would have the shotgun when you know how that was, Lillian. They'd have a shotgun when if you got pregnant, you had to get married. So that, so you've got out this group now that they have seen what it's like to be a single parent, or have grown up in a single parent home, and they're not with it, because marriage is also down between that group too. So they're not trying to, what'd she say?
Linda said no. When you asked her, was she not going to talk today? Brenda can't go without talking.
But you know what, though, Emily, that's what I think it is that these kids have experienced hardships, and they ain't trying to do that. They don't want to do that. And I'm kind of glad that they have an idea of what it's like to have a child and be a single parent, because that ain't no joke. And that's either for the guy that is not necessarily the custodial parent, and for the young lady that is the custodial parent. Most of the time, that's what I see in my experience. They're not with it. It's too much trouble. It's difficult. Who want to bring a child up in this mess? And the world is already messed up. So do you really want to bring a child up, a new life, and have to deal with the type of trauma and such that's going on when you can't even hardly get a job?
Well, you know what, that's a good standpoint, but I think it's deeper than that. And just hear me out. I think that this generation is specifically the Gen Zs, if you will. They were raised on the self-care ideology, right? So very individualistic. I care about me. It's all about me. Self-care, self-love. Go get your nails done, sis. Go do this. Love yourself. Set boundaries. So, which there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but the entire generation has been raised on that ideology of being very individualistic. So I feel that lends to why a lot of them are not wanting to have children, because bottom line, in layman's terms, they're selfish.
Linda, that's the topic. The topic today is, why isn't this Gen Z, this generation opting out of having children?
Okay, so let me break this down. So this is just super interesting. So the silent generation was born between 1928 and 1945. Their ages right now, they would be the 81 to 98 year olds right now. That's called the silent generation. Now, the baby boomers, that would be you, my mom, etc. That was 1946 to 1964. And their age right now would be 62 to 80.
Okay.
So that's the baby boomers. We all know, baby boomers. Most of us was raised by a baby boomer. Gen X, 1965 to 1980, which is why they say I missed the cusp, because I was born in 81. So Gen X is 1965 to 1980, and the age right now would be 46 to 61. So isn't that crazy? The 60-year-olds would still be considered Gen X.
Hey, Faye, how you doing?
So next is the millennials, the Gen Y, Generation Y. The millennials is 1981 to 1996. Right?
Okay.
So that would be me. I would fall in that category as a millennial. Now, I always thought Jimmy was a millennial, but he's not. Jimmy falls into the Gen Z. That's 1997 to 2012. And their ages right now would be 14 to 29. That's your Generation Z. And the generation after that is Generation Alpha, which is your 2013 to 2025. And they would be in the age of 1 to 13. That's your Generation Alpha.
Well, I think it's real interesting that these age groups, each age group has its own values. But you're talking about the millennials and the Gen Xers. Why aren't they having children? And I'm saying to you that yes,
no, the millennials and the Gen Zs,
the millennials, because these children are more than a notion. Let's just go on and go into that, because a lot of them have that influence from social media. And let me just say, social media is not promoting raising these little bitty children, unless I'm just totally off. Social media influence has them like getting really what I would consider like overly made up, overly done. It promotes a lifestyle of quote unquote self-care, which is the nails. I'm talking about the women, the nails, the hair, and all of that. And that's lifestyle I don't think I've seen in reality shows. Y'all help me if I'm missing out on something. The reality shows is not showing them with little children. And if they do have children on the reality show, they got a nanny.
Yeah.
And so these kids are chasing, I won't say chasing the money, but they're chasing a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is not inclusive of having all of those children.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about the individualistic thought processes. They're more focused on themselves. And when we talk about self-care, they're pushing the, get your nails done, hair done, but even deeper, go do your yoga, go do your sit and read a book with a glass of wine, and protecting your peace, and that's really, really, really being pushed. And again, all of those are great concepts, they're great ideas, right? But they also push the agenda of individualism. Like, it makes you only focus on yourself, like protecting your peace. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I said, protecting your peace is not, being by yourself all the time, being at home, drinking a glass of wine, listening to her Marvin Gaye. And I said, that's being alone. I said, that's being a loner. That's being an introvert. It's being masked as, protecting your peace.
But sometimes you do have to be alone to protect your peace now.
That's sometimes. I'm saying that there is an energy that's being pushed, an agenda that's being pushed so hard to where that's what they're saying is protecting your peace. But what it's essentially doing is creating introverts, people that think the only way they can have peace is if they're at home alone. And you and I both know that that's not healthy. Being home alone every day, all day, does not protect your peace. That just means that you can't go out into the world and do what needs to be done, which is set boundaries, set realistic personal goals, and doing the things where you can actually communicate and be a part of society and still be able to protect your peace at the same time. I think that's what needs to be taught. And that's something that, the therapists need to work on, instead of just hey, protect your peace. And you're creating, because I know a couple that all they do is just go home and I'm protecting my peace.
What peace? They ain't got nobody at home.
That's my point. What are you protecting yourself from? Right?
And how do you do that?
Oh, here he comes.
Child, he in here tearing up shoes. There he come, right there.
You can hear him coming a mile away.
I know it.
Linda says this generation is all about self. It's about them. Selfish. So
and
that's
by
exactly
the way,
what I'm saying.
And Linda, you ain't told nothing but the truth, because they are selfish. And even when they have children, and I'm saying it, you ain't, even when they have children, they selfish as I don't know what. They don't bit more care. Let me just say this about, say, some of the babysit or doing things like that, dropping the children off, and not really thinking about whomever they dropping off children to don't have a life. It's very, very difficult, I think, and I'm going to say this, even being like the grandparent of that particular group, because they have expectations of what grandma and them is supposed to do for the grandchildren. And that right there, and I'm wondering, like, why did you have any children? There's a girl on TikTok that said she took her children, that crazy heifer took her children over to her mama's house and dropped the children off and said, look at here, I'm tired. Did you see it? She
No.
said, I'm tired of these children. She said, I don't want to be a parent anymore. I got a man now, and the man don't want to be bothered with my children, and I'm tired. And then that's it.
But that's not new.
Well, no, we're talking about now. And Linda just said, and if they have a child, they neglect them. She ain't telling no lie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not new
But
either.
but we're talking about where we are today.
That's what I'm saying. People have been doing that. I'm saying they do it all the time now. It's like common.
Well, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
what's the deal? Why are you having children? If you choose to have children, because you said it right, it's selfishness. And typically, and I'm gonna say this, and I know some of my listeners gonna get mad. A lot of these women that are here having these children, someone don't know who the baby daddy is and things like that. They have an agenda. They ain't having a child because they love the man or whatever like that. They having a child because they have an agenda that they're trying to.
Now, what do you think that agenda is?
Well, I don't know, because what we're talking about is the ones that don't want to have children. Like there's more and more and more millennials and Gen Zs that do not want to have children at all.
And what I'm talking about,
that's what today's topic is.
And what do you think their agenda is?
By the way, hold on for a moment.
That's what we talk
and
about.
that's what I'm saying to you,
Emily,
is that even if they don't want to have children, or they fix their mouth to say they don't want to have children, some of them still have the children, don't want the children, and then they do some other crazy stuff. So that's what I'm alluding to. I wanted to bring that into the mix too. So it's just not they ain't having children. And then Linda and us grandparents will step up because we don't want nobody watching our grandchildren.
But you know what still happens though?
What?
Even with those that have the children that didn't really want them and raise, they still claim them on their taxes.
I mean, yeah, that's
what they do. But you're saying that why don't and let me ask you this, Emily, what do you think it is?
That could be like $13,000, $14,000 a year that they get because they could claim those kids. So that's nothing to sneeze at. I'm saying that is one of their motivations that's the
motivation for having the children.
That's
we're talking about having.
But I'm just addressing what Brenda said, that they have them, but they didn't really want them. They didn't want the responsibility of them. And why do they do that? I'm saying one of the reasons why is because that they got a $15,000 or $14,000, $13,000, $12,000 kickback they can get, because it used to be back in the day they have them so they could work the land and field, but now they got them so they can get a big tax refund.
To your comment, because it's multifaceted, and you're like, why don't they want to have children?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have children because they selfish as hell.
Are lovers of themselves.
They love themselves. They ain't trying to. They don't give a darn. Nah.
They're trying to put on the makeup. They're trying to.
They're trying to look.
Well,
like,
I think it's like I said earlier.
Yeah.
This is an overall agenda that's being pushed. It's being pushed through social media, for sure. This self-care era.
I have another thing too. Y'all gonna say it's chauvinistic though, but I ain't being chauvinistic. But another one of the reasons, because last time I checked, men cannot carry a baby for 9 months and have a baby. So the ladies, they say, well, I'm tired of getting my body stretched out, and I'm tired of losing my figure, and I'm tired of, being the one who really, really has the charge to keep, because I had this baby, and there's so many of them that have kids that are not married, that are having babies that are not in wedlock, and those kinds of things. And so generally those people who have babies that are not in wedlock, the honest of that kid is generally pushed toward the female.
So what you're saying, but that is the truth too. Emily, don't want to mess your body up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of it.
Child would claim them, and they live at the parents' house.
Absolutely.
And you think crazy if you ask for the child. What?
She's saying that the kids will live with the grandparents, but the parents will still claim them
on
their
their taxes. Absolutely.
And when the grandparents ask for some of the money, the parents get pissed off because it's like, well, that's my child.
I carried that baby for 9 months.
So,
but you know what, Emily, that is a great question, and I know that we're just having a debate with it. I'm glad you brought it out. But one of the things that Johnny said was, when he was talking, was like, whoa. The self-care, and it's just more than hair and nails. It is body.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
do you
Yeah.
want to stretch your body out to have a baby after you've done yoga
And their career pursuit, the pursuit of their career,
Mhm.
the baby gets in the way. For
No, it's not chauvinistic, but don't you think that's true? Because look, I mean,
Well, that's what I said. It's individual. It's a very individualistic society that we live in. Everybody is for themselves now, and the agenda is continuously being pushed, and it creates. We're already divided as it is.
Yeah.
All it does is create more division, but in a more very calculated way.
Yeah, I can't go on my vacations into Vegas with my girls if I got kids. That's another reason.
You know, the self-care retreats, and it's also I feel that there's a underlying agenda that is pushing more women away from being in healthy relationships.
I agree.
And so, of course, that also stops you from wanting to have children. And I see it obviously because I'm a female, so my nose is to the ground, my ears to the ground,
right.
And I have, females sit in my chair all day, every day. So I'm listening, to what they're telling me. And that's why I decided, about this topic today. I'm like, this is interesting because more and more and more, they ain't studying having no children, and they're career driven. They're, I got to protect my peace. Well, if you've never had a child, what do you talk about protecting your peace? You don't know anything about raising a child.
Those are just some evil, selfish women sitting in your chairs.
But I've said it when we first started. I said it's
that's what it really is.
To being selfish, but it's
in your chairs that you're listening to all the time, and they feeding each other, and they're just increasing that conversation.
Now, do I think that they're feeding each other? Absolutely, but I'm going to say this: is some of us, and I know you say I don't like little children. I mean, honestly, I don't like them. I don't like diapers. I know I like my great and stuff like that. I love all of my little sugar pookie, my little sugar chocolate drops and all of that. I love all of them. But
they'd rather be the businesswoman. They'd rather be the businesswoman than the mother.
I am not the kind of woman, and I never have been, that wanted to stay home, change diapers. And, I didn't. I had my first baby at 19. That lady at the clinic, I'll never forget it, came and said, "Oh, his diaper's real white. I bet you be down here next year with a baby." I said, "Not me." I told her I wasn't having no more children. I didn't like motherhood like that. I wanted the children walking, talking, and potty trained. I just, and there's some people that are like me. It ain't selfish. I just don't like kids. I don't like I don't like it. I don't think it's cute to be running behind them. I don't like none of that. I really don't. I mean, I fool with them when they get to be a little bit older and stuff like that. But as far as when they like little bitty, I don't like to deal with little bitty.
And I think that's fair. But you have one, and
whoop Linda, whoop Linda right there, whoop Linda.
Hey Faye, I'm glad you're doing better, Faye.
She talking about, well, most of them are confident in them bodies and wearing anything, so it's not about messing up the body.
I said
there's a whole lot of misguided confidence coming from all these queens.
I said they don't care about it. Ain't about they by messing up their body. They do not want to have children because they are focused on themselves, and there's an agenda being pushed through social media to keep that mindset going. And it's not just the don't have children because you need to.
Who's
be a boss
pushing
babe.
That agenda? You think?
I think that it's the algorithm. You could call it, I don't know, people, the Illuminati, the 1%, the powers that be. I know that there is an energy because even I
you
constantly
think they
change
want
my
that's
algorithms.
Another way they want population reduction.
Yeah, population control.
Population control.
Pushing the LGBTQ agenda, which is less children. Also, the underlying agenda I feel as well is keeping people from or Black women specifically from getting in relationships. Because I will say this, and I've done the research, it is not Caucasian women, Caucasian millennials or Caucasian Gen Z that are not having babies. It's us. It's Black women, African American women that have opted out of having children.
Yeah, because they feel like queens don't raise babies.
No, it's not even queens.
Because we all queens, and queens always have subjects to raise their babies.
Well, let me just say
but
this.
They just queens in their mind because they're really not queens, and they ain't got no subjects to have their baby, handle their babies.
Let me just say this, and I was a lot of times there is some misguided information. I've gotten in trouble about this before, that the men are not going to be there for, to help support the children and stuff like that. But I'm going to say this. I have seen more men cry, and it's just not, but cry over their children because they want to have a relationship with them. So this thing of some of the black women, if you listen out there, oh, well, he don't care. No, maybe he didn't want children when you wanted children. But a lot of black men that I find, and I hate to put, qualify, like to give a blanket statement like that, love their children. And they will be supportive of their children. So, I like the fact that you brought out social media. Social media is more than a notion, Johnny. I'm telling you right now, it's evil. It's evil. And you need to know, it's just like, you in a city.
Johnny in and out. Johnny can't stay out of it. He love his social media.
But if you in a city, I went to a media literacy class. And we were talking about it, and the guy explained the internet like a city, like a big city like New York. There are places that you go to, which is really, really good. But then there are some other places that are really, really dark. And I'm thinking about, like some of these things that's going on social media. The ideas that they're pushing, you need to know, you need to have some literacy about yourself so that you know what the agenda is that's being pushed. And you are absolutely correct. And just an example, that little that little, it's on one of them commercials, they got a little gecko. When does a child buy insurance? Children don't buy like insurance. That's to get the kids. That's to do product placement in their mind.
Yeah, it's called programming, systematic programming.
It's systematic programming. They put it in their mind when they little, and so when they grow up, they think it's normal. I.e., little kids like Denver. She may look at social media. Let me just say this. I didn't even know how to do this. We just talk about the influence of social media. I said, Denver, I'm going to take you down. We're going to go by Starbucks and get. She told me, she says, I want a Vende, caramel, something thing, 2 pumps of this. And I was like, I can't even spell all the stuff, Frappuccino and everything. She has watched social media to the extent she knows how to go in, and even though she's 11, and write me out a prescription for that. There's no sense in that. That's social media influence to me. And that's what you're talking about, the influence of that.
So you think that social media influences women to get, because it takes time to get all these hairdos. So you think it influences these women to get all these different hairdos, like wear for a few days, then get another one that takes a whole lot of time, or to get the nails changed out, and that takes a lot of time. And it's a whole lot of women who, I bet you, out of the 7 days of the week, for at least 4 of those days of the week, you could just about bet that they're going to be at some hookah place or some cigar lounge or somewhere out to meet the girls or somebody for drinks or something. So where is the time for these females to be mothers? They spend their time doing these things and more of those type things, or planning a vacation or going on a cruise. I can't go on a cruise with no children. I can't go on a cruise pregnant. I can't wear my bathing suit. I can't. It is. I know maybe you can blame it and say it's the computers controlling them. Then they ought to put their phones down. So there ought to be more conversation from the women who are not caught up in the algorithms to tell their friends, baby, come on, honey, put the phone down. Let's go for a walk. And maybe we can talk about something, because if it's truly the social media and the algorithms and that kind of thing, then you gotta start saying, hey, baby, you're killing yourself.
But when you, I'm gonna say this, because again, Johnny, you deal with the public. I deal with the public, but specifically, I deal with females all day, and
I deal with both.
What I know to be true is, even in my own personal experience, I have a motto: no phones at the table. Like when we go out to dinner or whatever, or if we're at home, there's no cell phones. I get kickback most from the older people. I.e., my mom, love you, Ma. My mom gets pissed off. I say, Ma, get off your cell phone at the table. We eating. When I was married,
leave your mom alone. You need to be talking to them girls who can still have babies.
When I was married, get off your cell phone. So it's an addiction, and I've talked about this program before. This documentary on Netflix before, and it's called The Social Experiment. And I encourage everybody to read it. The reason why it works, it's designed to be addictive. Social media is designed to sway your thinking. That's why they have everything you go on now. It asks you, can you accept the cookies, because they're tracking what you do. They're tracking the way you think, so they can push more of that to you, which is why me and Antonio are always telling you, you need to change your algorithms. Because if you keep talking about, these women just want money, these women ain't no good, your phone, I'm not saying this, hear me out, your phone is listening. Not only are they listening because you give all of the apps permissions to have access to your camera, access to your microphone. So it is listening to you, and everything that you're saying, it puts it into that phone, and those cookies are storing that information. So if you have the TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Lemonade, Twitter, what is the other one that the kids use, whatever, it's another one that they use.
I don't have any of that, but the only thing I got is Facebook. I don't have Instagram.
But you're an exception to the rule, because most people they're going to have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, right? So you have all of these different social medias, and you've given all of them permission to listen. Because before you finish downloading that app, you have to give it permission to do that. So the way the apps are designed is to listen to what you're saying, to pay attention to your browsing history. When you're on your phone just looking, they store that information, and that's how they sell to you.
But see,
that's how they market to you, and that's how they push.
I don't think.
Let me finish. That's how they push the agenda.
But I don't think that the algorithms and social media is what makes me have. I can see with my own eyes. I see that there are so many women who have babies and don't know who the baby's dads are. That's not social. That's not algorithm.
What I'm saying.
That's none of that stuff you're talking about.
This is because you are a generation.
None of that.
Hold on, Linda. Miss.
I'm not going to let that be the reason to say that's why I see what I see.
Miss Faye said, Miss Linda, they're not answering our post. Faye, what is it? Give us a call in. That number is 250-1444.
So my point is, you were born. Brenda was born, I was born in a generation that did not. So our thinking is not as swayed as the Gen Z and the millennial generation, because you weren't born into social media. Brenda wasn't born into social media. I wasn't born into social media.
But it's a lot of those kids that don't do the stuff that we are talking about that Gen does and X does. It's a lot of kids in those same age groups that don't participate in that stuff. And there's a lot of people in our age group. It is all the kids that are 30 and 20 don't do the same thing. Well, a lot of those people are excelling in life.
But what do you mean? They're excelling in life, but that's my point, because they're selling the agenda, be an entrepreneur.
No, that's not what I mean at all. I mean, they're being family people. I see young people with their families all the time.
But Johnny, let me just say on a whole.
It's not.
Let me just tell you on a whole. And this is from my prior training. You know what? One of the darkest, and I'm gonna just say this, one of the darkest professions that there is.
What is it?
Marketing. Marketing is one of the most evil professions that there is.
That's why you gotta watch the
That's
program.
why you have to really watch it, because marketers know what colors work on what psyche.
I agree with you guys with this, but it comes down to capitalism, though.
No, this is not capitalism.
Yes, it is. That's why you got that type of marketing, because of capitalism.
But it's about a choice.
Okay.
What's the difference between a Bayer aspirin and an aspirin? The only difference between Bayer aspirin and an aspirin is the way that Bayer aspirin is marketed. Mm-hmm. That's it. The compound is the compound. So when you're looking at when we're talking about social media and the influence that it has on children and people and their psyche and shaping their ideas, I bet you right now you could go outside and ask a child what kind of tree it is, he wouldn't know it. Okay, but you could take up a rapper and show him a wrapper, like a candy wrapper, and show him that or an emblem on a car or whatever, and he would be able to tell you what kind of car.
And I agree with you.
And so my point to you, that is the power
of social media.
I get that.
Okay.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old kid does not have the money to go out and buy laptops and buy the phones and all of that.
Okay,
so who really is the cause of them being the way that they are?
By the way, listen to me.
Is it them or is it their parents?
Listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
You got a degree in marketing. You understand it's called product placement. They go ahead and they put that thought in their mind when they 5 and 6, those children. So when they get to be 18, 19, or 20, and they get ready to go buy a phone or buy a car or buy that, the first thing that pops in their mind is what they learned at 6 years old. Teach a child a way to go and he won't astray, okay?
All I'm saying is I got a lot of men who are my age. I'm 65. I got a lot of 65-year-old, 60-year-old, 55-year-old men and women who say that they had no communicative relationship with their fathers when they grew up. They could tell you the number of times that their father looked at them and told them, I love you, son. So my point is that there is people, to me, it's not the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who are painting as victims of the marketing that's happening. I think it is all of us. I think it is the people who are in our generations too, who failed our kids, who didn't spend time with our kids, who stuck the laptops in their face, who stuck the iPhones. Oh, she got her baby Android. I'm gonna get my baby iPhone. So I think the me-ism attitude started long before these new folk. It started with us. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm telling you, but it wasn't as bad with us because we didn't have that stuff. Our parents did not teach us a lot of this stuff right here now.
We got a phone caller.
Hello, caller. How are you?
I'm doing better. How are you?
Oh, that's Faye. How you doing, Miss Alexander?
What's happening, Faye?
I'm getting better. Thank you.
Okay, what did you want to say?
I was saying, why don't y'all think women don't want to have babies because of the way these kids are acting now?
You mean because the children are so doggone bad?
They are bad.
And and so these people don't want to bring these.
Necessarily have to be bad, but yours don't necessarily have to be bad because he or she can get caught up in something bad.
Mm-hmm. And so you think that they just don't want to be bothered?
I think that's part of the reason.
I disagree.
I
mean, it could be part. It could be, but
go ahead,
I don't think.
What'd you say, Faye?
You still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I just think that because I have raised my 3 granddaughters.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been afraid when they go out, something could happen. And some things have already included in their lives.
I got what you're saying, Faye. I got it. Because she's saying that, she's just afraid. That's why it's some of the people are not having children because they're afraid of what's going to happen to them. So they just won't have them. Am I correct, Faye? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that I got it. And that's the truth. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling. We need to touch base, Miss Faye.
Well, we'll touch base when I get out the hospital.
Oh,
we're praying for you.
We pray for you. We didn't know that you was in there. Be blessed, okay?
All right, Central Charger. All right, Central Charger.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think this generation thinks that far. Like, oh, my kid is going to be bad, so I don't want kids. I think that they haven't been able to get past the me, the Me Too movement, the me. It's all about me, what I want for my career, what I want for my body, what I want for my bank account, me.
Now, I'm one of those people too. Let me just do a little. I don't have any children that I know of, but and I've told y'all there's a possibility there's this one person, but like I'm gonna share some. When I was young, and my mother got sick and died, and I was a young boy, and I said to my friends reminded me of this the other day. They said, "Man, we're talking about the fact that I don't have." They said, "You said you weren't gonna have any kids." They said, "You said that." And they say you said it because you said you were so devastated from the pain of your mother dying.
I thought
and you were so devastated that you didn't want to bring a kid into this world and have a kid go through the pain that you were going through and the suffering that you were going through with the things that were going on within my family unit, with my mother dying and then with my brother getting sick like that and stuff. And there are other people that I've talked to in my life that's the reason why they don't want kids too, is because they see so much evil in this world. And it's not because some of them is not because they're pursuing careers and things of that nature. Some of them just simply, they think it's such an evil world that they don't even want to bring their kids in. And some people are spiritual in that manner, whether we think that's the way they should be or not. But some people actually think that way, and that's their motivation. But for me, it was, I just had so much pain. I was like, man, I don't want to bring no child into this kind of stuff. And it's a lot of other people like that. I found out.
You know what, Johnny? I had pegged you for that.
Yeah.
Because I said, it must have really broke your heart.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That when his mama passed, I said, it broke your heart so much you don't even know how to talk about it.
I don't.
I mean, I don't mean,
no,
I don't want to bring it up either, but I was
it.
like, Johnny don't even hardly say her name.
Yeah.
And that has to be painful. Look at his eyes getting red right now. Look at him. You can't tell. He can't, because he loved her.
Mm-hmm.
Why you gotta call a man out?
Because I just have to, because I'd be messy as hell.
So yeah. So you guys chime in. What do you guys think? We got Faye on here. We got Breon on here. We got Said on here. You guys chime in. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Why do you guys think that I think, let me pull it back up, because I think, Johnny, you missed that part when I broke down the generations. You had the silent generation, which were born in 1928 to 1945. You got your baby boomers that were born between 1946 and 1964.
They was getting it in.
You have the Generation X, that's the 1965 to 1980. You have the millennials, which is the 1981 to 1996. You have Gen Z, which is 1997 to 2012, and Generation Alpha, which is 2013 to current.
But I thought which one before 2013?
That's the Gen Z.
That's the one the comedians be talking about, them test tube babies.
Let me just tell you this. I was just thinking about it. And when we talked about it, that particular group, they don't give a darn about nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, the answer that what's the question? The question is, why isn't, what is it?
So today's question was, why are the Gen Z and the millennials opting out of having children? Why are the newer generations or the younger generations opting out of having children altogether? They don't want kids anymore.
No children. And I'm still saying to you that part of the reason, and we were talking about self-care, but I still say social media even defines what self-care is. So understand all of that. I mean, they tell them you got to have your nails done a certain way. You've got to have your face done. Emily, they don't, I have not seen, even though it may be out there, but seldom do you see social media promoting a clean face.
And you know what? And y'all really got me, thinking like,
yeah,
I'm not saying that y'all's reasons are not valid. I'm just saying it's a lot of other reasons. And I think another one of those reasons, perhaps maybe, is that they don't instantly think of joyfulness when they think about families and having kids, because that's not what they experienced as a child. Because some of their parents worked so hard to make ends meet, they didn't have time enough to develop these relationships with their children. So that these people who are growing up now, they are detached from those kinds of stories. They don't have these stories to tell about, man, remember me and dad was walking and skipping rocks on the water and all of these things, and just picking peaches together or throwing rocks and see if we can make the rock curve. They don't have these stories to tell. Me and my mom would sit around and she showed me how to plait hair, and my mom showed me how to braid. Like one time when I know that was just the way of the neighborhood, that all the parents and all their daughters, the daughters' moms always taught their daughters how to be from girls to to women, and all the men would take their boys and teach them from how to be boys to men. That doesn't happen anymore. And I think that might also affect them and their thinking. That's not the joy of like embracing the thought of, oh, I can't wait to have a kid so I can do with my kid what my parents did with me. It didn't exist.
So Chevis Perry said, raising children is significantly more expensive now. Housing, childcare, healthcare, education. Many younger adults feel they need financial stability first, which is harder to achieve than it was for prior generations. Student loan debt, high rent, home prices, expensive childcare for many. It's not no kids ever, but not yet. And delays often become fewer or no children, which I agree with that, because I have friends now that, one of them just had a baby and she's 40. And I was just like, you realize you're going to be 60 when that child graduates.
You go, girl.
School. And so, but here's the thing. She just had the baby. She complains constantly. Well, ain't nobody told you to wait till you was 40 to do it.
But that's probably another side to it, though, Emily, where she's joyous about it.
No. She's telling this, and
like,
it goes,
well, let me read what else
you don't
he
think
said.
It's another side to it?
He said relationship patterns have changed.
That's right.
Marriage and long-term partnerships are happening later or less often.
Right.
Since births still strongly correlate with stable partnerships, fewer or later partnerships equal fewer children.
You ain't lying.
Oh, he got some more. Cultural shift towards personal fulfillment. Older generations often say parenthood as a default life step. Younger generations see it as one option among many. Common attitudes now: I want to be sure I truly want kids. I value freedom and experiences. Parenting is a major commitment. Parenthood has shifted from expected to intentional.
Well, he's agreeing with a lot of stuff that we were saying earlier.
And I think I like the way you frame that.
Mhm.
I look at it as for, you were just talking about the shift. See, a lot of us, and I'm just going to say this lady, 40 years old, ain't no way in the hell I'd have a baby at 40. My nerves bad. I don't care what you say. The children bad. They come out with their head up. They used to, I'm trying to tell you, when I had a baby, the baby used to lay in the crib. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Linda. They would lay in the crib. You could lay them down and walk out the room. Them little creatures right now, you lay them down in the crib, they climbing all out. They ain't even barely a month old.
But hold up.
Hey.
Not. Some of that comes from some of the stuff we putting in our bodies.
That could be all of that.
I'm just saying, you can't dismiss it.
And that's even more of the point. If you wait till you 40, how much damage have you done to your body?
I'm talking some of these young folks too.
But we talk about the 40-year-old right now.
I'm talking about them children come out.
She love her baby. You stop talking like
come
that.
out talking. They about come out talking almost.
But you know what? Let me say this. I had Jimmy when I was 18. Brenda had Carl when she was 19. When I was 18, I was really down about it, right? Because back then that was like, that was the worst thing you could do. You had a child out of wedlock. You were a teenage mom, blah, blah, blah.
You were just hot.
Actually, I wasn't.
I was hot though. That's what the girl said when I married Henry. She said I was hot. But that ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
Okay, let's stay focused.
Let me just
say
my
this. Point is, what I'm trying to get to is,
I
was glad that.
Hey, Reginald, men are not paying bills like grandma and grandma. Let me tell you something.
Never mind.
The bottom line is this. When I was at a younger person, I had patience to deal with. I could run behind the children. Ain't it right, Emily? Could you run behind Jimmy?
I was trying to get to that point.
When you 40 years old, now
40 is the new 20.
I don't care what
is the new
that's because
40.
social media is telling people that social media telling you 40 is not the new 20.
For a lot of women, it is.
Your body, Johnny, this is something you can't speak on this. For women, 40 is 40. Your body, when you 40, your body is 40.
No, I see
we
some
can
women.
tell ourselves.
No, all women ain't the same.
Myself.
I'm sorry, sister. All women ain't the same.
Johnny,
you ain't gonna sell me on that.
Johnny, what you talking about?
No,
Johnny?
because you're trying to be too specific.
All men
what
are
I'm
not
telling
the same.
you, at 40, it's certain things that
y'all are specific all the time. You talk about Jimmy. You talk about them. Why can't I be specific?
Look, because it sounds to me you're talking about a visual 40 or whatever.
I'm saying some people keep themselves in shape.
But if you let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Say what you're saying.
At 40, every woman's body goes through a certain transition. At 50, your body goes through a certain transition. Now, my mind, like in my mind, I feel like I'm 20. Like I feel like I can hang with the 20-year-olds. I can look just as good as the 20-year-olds, but my body has told me, hey, you 45, sis.
And I get you on that. And some
That's
women,
all I'm saying.
in their mind, they might think they can do that stuff, but their weight and their makeup and their build won't allow them. But some women who are 40 can still do what a 19-year-old
Let me tell you something.
I still can too, but my body is still telling me, hey,
I'm sorry. I see different levels.
By the way, in the words of R. Kelly, my mind keep telling me yes, and my body is saying no. I'm trying to tell you.
It's actually the opposite.
But I said it the way I said it because I'm old. But she's right. I'm going on 70.
Physical makeup ain't the same.
Johnny,
I'm sorry now.
Johnny, I am going on 40. I mean, going on 70. My mind say I can do what a 40-year-old woman can do, but my hips say no.
Right, and I can find another woman your same age that could go run the marathon.
By the way,
a lot of them, matter of fact.
And that's physical stuff.
That's what I just said.
No. But I'm talking about mentally, and I'm just being honest because I have to. I am not the same person that I was with my children as I am with Denver. It's just a fact.
Like Bill Cosby say, it's your job to spoil them.
And I'm telling you something. It is when you 40 and you got to get on the floor and crawl around with them children. I know she complaining because that's a lot. That is a lot. You haven't been around, and no, if you ain't been around them children, bad as hell.
I've been around children.
No, not what you have to get up with them. Let me tell you something.
Yes, I have,
Johnny. I tell you what. When I was at a certain age, Emily, and I'm not lying, I would be so tired when I had them grandchildren. I'd be
exhaust
glad.
You.
That's right. I'd be glad for them to go home.
Feel like you've been playing football. On my story would be like, man, I feel like I've been playing ball, and I ain't had these children but 7 hours.
We got a phone caller.
Hello, caller. How are you?
Who would want to raise a child in this evil environment we living in, brother?
See, I talked about the evil earlier. They kind of dismissed it, but I'm telling you,
we didn't dismiss it.
That's a lot of it right there, man. The evil environment.
I mean, just look around and look at all the evil and the hatred that's even in our own race. And from a black standpoint, I think it's a cultural thing. Who would want to raise a child in the environment that we're living in now?
In this mean old world.
It doesn't matter how much money you got. It don't matter how much financial stability you have. But look at what's going on in the world today.
Mean old world. Evil world.
Sense. It's an evil world. And everybody knows I'm a Christian. Y'all know that. I didn't say I was a saint. I said I was a Christian. I start my day with prayer every single morning at 6 o'clock. But you look at the stuff that goes on, who would want to? And nobody has a crystal ball, Johnny. You don't know who.
That's right.
You don't know who you don't know who you're getting involved into. Everything can be loving, loving. And here's what I could never understood. People spend $30,000 on a wedding. We won't spend $500 on counseling. That don't make any sense.
Got that right.
Don't make any sense. Horse and buggy, all that kind of stuff, champagne coming out and stuff, but you don't spend no money on counseling. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Hey, Leon, even with the children, they'll spend $2,000 on a 1-year-old child's birthday party and won't spend any time with the child.
None at all. You got a child. You got a child that can rap, but he can't say his ABCs. You don't make sense. You don't make sense.
And Reginald,
what generation am I in, Emily? I'm 72. So what generation am I in?
You said you're 72.
You were born
in
what
baby
year?
boomer.
We're baby boomers.
I was born in 53.
Right. We're baby boomers, Leon. Me and you are in that same generation.
Yeah, you, Johnny, and Brenda are baby boomers.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
right,
okay.
So Sheila is 61. Sheila is 61. So what is
Sheila would actually be a baby. You said she's 61.
Mhm.
Born in what year?
So she's a Generation X.
Okay.
And but you know the thing about it, and I'm glad that you came on to talk
She's
about
born
it.
in 64.
But I'm
I
telling
guess.
you, I'm like Reginald.
What did you say? 64 or 61?
61.
I think yes.
Oh, she's a baby boomer. If she was
She's a
born in
baby.
61, she's a baby boomer.
And let me just say this.
Yeah.
It is a different breed of children, which is what I was telling you. And when you old and you had them old eggs and old sperm,
She
you
talking
bring
about
out some
Benjamin
old
Button
mess.
baby. Ain't that what they got?
Yeah, they Benjamin Button babies. They come out here looking right old, acting right old and stuff like that. You look at the baby, he got a beard.
Raising a child in this day and time, Johnny. I mean, who wants to go through that added stress? You can't.
I'm telling you, it's the evil thought, the evil part, man. I think that has a greater.
Without going to jail. Now, let me say this right here. It's a difference between discipline and child abuse.
I agree.
That's right.
Proverbs
Better law.
22 and 6. Raise up a child in which way they go. When they get old, they want to depart.
They want
That's
to part.
right.
Okay?
Mhm.
But you can't even discipline your own child this day and time. You just can't.
And we've done some show on gentle parenting, and that's part of the problem too, with that selfishness. Did them children so doggone selfish? I know one that came in and they don't want to share potato chips or cookies or anything like that. And I've seen some little children. I'm like, in fact, I would whip mine for that. I said, you go and you ask somebody to have some.
It's about time.
But you have to teach them to share.
And you have to time.
teach them.
There's
You
no
have to-
time. We don't have. They don't spend
And
time.
Brenda, another thing is you got the parents want to be the child friend instead of the parent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's right. And then they wonder why the children so bad. I know I wanted to call and check on you, and this is off subject about this weekend and let you know that you were in my prayers because you had a busy
Yeah,
weekend.
man. Praying for. I just
and
got
it
back
was-
to town and learned about it.
And I'm so sorry.
It wasn't the weekend. It was a murder suicide in Lake Wildwood that messed me up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I let the Miley boys in on the weekend.
Yeah, that was in making news.
Listen,
Young
y'all
man
have a
to
good
be
day
up
today.
there. He killed.
About the rent. About
him being evicted. I think is what it was.
Yeah. I never seen anything like that in my life. I ain't had a feeling like this since Lauren Giddens.
Wow.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, wow.
Leon, thank you for calling, man.
We'll keep you in our prayers, Leon. All right, peace.
You know, I got to talk about y'all. Better come get y'all some of that breakfast at Anderson down at 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. I'm telling you, Brenda, y'all got to come eat.
Okay, I'm gonna be up. I'm
Salmon patties, all the real breakfast, cheese, grits, all of that.
Well, Johnny, you know what? I be trying to take care of my mama and everything.
Well, we just got to bring you some breakfast.
Yeah, you have to bring me some because I can't leave because
No, listen. I promise you, Mr. Anderson will be happy to send some food over there for your mama and Henry. I promise.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later next week, same time, 5:30.
Come on in. Come on.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO